You may recall this little model that I built of the Scottish Highland Church. Someone asked if I would do something else, and it struck me that maybe I could do a model of a Glasgow tenement building. Now, this was a gift from my sister, and it's a replica of a typical Glasgow tenement building made from sandstone. Sandstone blocks were used in the construction, and that's the backyard, as they called it. This side was obviously demolished, maybe during the Second World War, when Glasgow was bombed by the Luftwaffe, and many of these buildings were local to the River Clyde, where the shipyards were. So I went about trying to figure out how I would do this, what materials I would use, etc, etc. And with the help of a friend from Partick, Glasgow, by the name of Anne Bowden, she was able to get me a couple of dimensions of a part of the building which I could confirm on this and use as a sort of scaling factor. So I then started to think about the materials, and what I did was I used this card material which you get from foolscap paper. Now, of course, it's grey, and when I was growing up, the buildings were grey because of the smog and the soot and ash from the engineering works in the shipyards, and the smog, etc. And what I did was I measured out the close, or the main entrance, and the windows, and then I had a friend of mine cut me some window frames, and I put them on, some of which I added a little bit of paint because everybody had their own idea of painting the window frames. So at the, what would have been the gable end or the side of the building, you can see here is where the chimney would go up from the fireplaces in each of the apartments, as you could call them, and that's made from the same material. And then I attached some of these little posters that are to scale, that I'm going to be using for my model layout, and they were typical of the time, you know, people dreaming of going on holiday, escaping from the tenement buildings. So the internals I've built from the same material, stiffened it up a bit, and then I will go about attaching everything together. You can imagine how it would look. Now, it is to a scale of 1:76, or quarter inch to the foot approximately, and would fit in quite well in that scale there, which these model railways are, which is 00 gauge. So it is the right scale. Now, I'm not sure if I will continue with this particular model. I may finish it and then move on and try a different method, and maybe use different material and confirm these blocks I think they're about right, and maybe I would cut the edge of each of the layers of block to give them some definition, and maybe I would use some of this modelling clay over the top of it, and then I could actually paint it whatever colour I decide. But as you can see, it's this model here is quite well defined and very typical of your tenement building in Glasgow up until the early 1960s, I would imagine. And there you can see the fireplaces from the demolished side of the building as a result, most likely, of the bombing by the Luftwaffe. And as I said, many of these buildings were constructed and erected around the River Clyde as mass housing, mainly for those people who worked in the shipyards and engineering works. And most of them are gone now. There are still a few there you can find and get some fairly accurate information from. So I hope you like this, and we'll just follow through in the progress. And you know, I've still to come up with a method of putting the roof in. And as I had said on this one, what I will do is maybe get some sandpaper, the black sandpaper, and cut it into strips and mark it so that it will look more like the slate tiles that were on these buildings, and add a little bit of green for the moss that you would often find due to the dampness. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this little architectural modelling tour, and stay tuned for further developments. Bye for now.